Foreign tourists worried about vacationing in Bali. Pickpockets come as fast as lightning and steal cell phones. Bad news for Bali. And PHRI Bandung asked for moratorium proposal to wait for an in-depth study. Who's surprised about this? Stay tuned for details on these stories and more. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is October 21st, 2024, and my name is Bruce. And let's just jump into this and get going. Foreign tourists worried about vacationing in Bali. Pickpockets come as fast as lightning and steal cell phones. Bali's tourism destinations have been tarnished once again by a gang of pickpockets targeting foreign nationals on vacation in Bali. Previously, they had been raiding the tourist village, that's in quotes, of Kuta, but this time the gang of pickpockets has shifted to Sanur. Two pickpocket victims from Korea and Chile have reported the incidents to the South Denpasar police. The first snatching incident was for the person from Chile, the tourist from Chile. This male tourist was living in a Pitaloka hotel, and he experienced the snatching incident around 9:30 at night on the 16th, a few days ago, in front of the Bali Mandara Hospital. In his report, the victim said he and a female friend were riding a motorbike together, precisely on the side of the road in front of the crime scene. Suddenly, from behind, a motorbike appeared, driven by two perps. This gang of pickpockets moved quickly and snatched the victim's iPhone 14 Pro. And he had it in a holder on his motorbike. Not a good idea, because, as I've mentioned before, a lot of this stuff goes on. The victim tried to chase the perps, was unsuccessful. The street criminals immediately disappeared in the middle of a traffic jam. The victim claimed a loss of 20 million rupiah. Is that how much an iPhone costs? You can buy Android for much cheaper. Before the case was fully investigated, another snatching occurred. This one on Thursday, the 17th, and this was a tourist from South Korea. The woman who works as a teacher was mugged in front of a homestay in Sanur, and the crime scene was the victim's residence. According to this, the victim was mugged in front of the homestay while waiting for an online pickup. The victim was shocked that the cell phone had changed hands. From the story summarized by her, at the time, she was waiting alone for an online pickup on the side of the road. Not long after, two perps came by riding on a motorbike. They immediately snatched the cell phone out of her hand. She had time to scream for help, but no one helped because it was quiet at that time. So she reported it to the police and said a loss was 10 million rupiah. Regarding these two snatching incidents, Head of Public Relations of Denpasar Police could not yet provide comment. I'll check first, he said. And these are the kind of things that people in the tourist industry here in Bali dread. Reports of crime, and go along with the traffic jams and the overcrowding and the trash issue. It does not look good. And as a number of people have said in comments here recently, people are starting to move on to other places, although the young crowd still seems to be quite happy coming to Bali, although I have seen a few videos on TikTok and Instagram from young people who said, I was here, I tried it, not really a thing for me, I'm going to try Thailand or Vietnam. Okay, so too bad for those two tourists, and well, hopefully they will get their cell phones back. And what about the moratorium? I still haven't heard any word on the moratorium, right? They're going to announce this in October. We have another 11 days left to go. And maybe with the new administration coming in, something will be done, something will be decided. But not surprisingly, some people have been asking that the moratorium be delayed. PHRI Bandung asked for moratorium proposal to wait for in-depth study. In-depth study means a long time. Plans to implement a moratorium on the construction of tourist accommodations such as hotels and villas in South Bali, still uncertain. Chairman of the Indonesian Hotel and Restaurant Association, PHRI Badung, I Gusti Agung Nurai Surwijaya, also called for the moratorium proposal to be studied more deeply before being implemented. Whether it's stuck or what, I don't know. I heard that in the center, it's like that. Now, what if the center is going to take over? The ones who know the problems in Bali are Balinese. So there must be coordination between Balinese and the center being Jakarta. so that things that are not good and contradictory don't happen later. Pak Surya Wijaya said that before the moratorium is implemented, a comprehensive study needs to be conducted. Is this a delaying tactic? He suggested that the moratorium be postponed until there is a thorough and comprehensive study so that the basis of the policy is stronger and more hotels and villas can be built in the meantime. In addition, he also emphasized the importance of synchronization and harmonization with the conditions in Bali. When meeting with the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy at the Sanur Festival the other day, he said that there was no discussion about the moratorium. He said Pak Sandiaga was not feeling well, maybe because he's about to lose his job. Pak Surya Wijaya appreciated the moratorium discourse previously voiced by the Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment, Pak Luhut, as well as Pak Sandiaga. According to Pak Surya Wijaya, the implementation of the moratorium should be based on the results of an in-depth study to determine the optimal capacity of South Bali. The optimal capacity? The moratorium, he continued, can be implemented to prevent excessive land conversion, such as by temporarily stopping the construction of beach clubs or hotels that utilize large areas of land. He also highlighted the potential impact of the moratorium on local communities. We must be careful. Don't let the moratorium actually harm the community. For example, if local people who own land in tourist areas like Canggu are prohibited from building, it will make things difficult for them. Land that cannot be utilized can trigger land sales because taxes still have to be paid on the land, he said. According to him, the moratorium should be applied selectively by considering several indicators. He stated that if there is an excess supply, a moratorium can be imposed to prevent unhealthy competition. However, with hotel rates reaching 80 to 90% and demand still high, he said the policy needs to be considered carefully. In other words, let's not think about the environment, the lifestyle for locals. Let's just think about how many more tourist bucks we can get in here. He emphasized the importance of involving all tourism stakeholders in the study and decision-making process related to the moratorium. After the study is completed, there needs to be a public test involving all parties. That way, the policies that are taken are better understood and accepted by groups. The arrangement of tourism areas is very important, but it must be accompanied by strict law enforcement against violations. If there are rules that are violated, violators must be dealt with firmly. And some good news for people up here in Singaraja. Jogging track facility construction begins, targeted to be completed by the end of this year. The first phase of construction of the jogging track facility in Buana Patra is the first step towards an integrated and environmentally friendly sports facility in Bulang. The acting regent of Bulang officially started the construction of the first phase at the Buana Patra field in Singaraja by laying the first stone the other day on Thursday. He explained all of this as an effort by the Bulang Regency government to fulfill the aspirations of the Bulang community for comfortable, safe, and environmentally friendly sports facilities. So the importance of building these facilities as part of improving the quality of life of the community is being undertaken. This jogging track must not only be beautiful, but also green and comfortable for all groups, including children, the disabled, and the elderly. If it is not green, the atmosphere will be barren. So greening is a priority at every stage of the development. Good for him. The construction of the jogging track is designed with a comprehensive concept that includes arrangement, addition of internet facilities, and murals that will decorate the area. In addition, the facilities will be designed to be disability friendly so that all elements of society can come and enjoy them. And he stressed the importance of ongoing maintenance. The biggest challenge is not only building, but also maintaining and caring for these facilities. Therefore, we will involve professionals who are experienced in maintaining plants and green areas as is done in the city forest. He also proposed building wells as a water source to support reforestation during the dry season. The first phase of the jogging track construction includes 428 meters of paving with a width of 5 meters using high-quality paving that's been tested for durability. The project is also equipped with drainage construction to ensure user comfort even during the rainy season. Meanwhile, the head of Public Works and Spatial Planning, PUTR, Agency of Bulang, explained that this project is supported by a budget ceiling of 1.068 billion rupiah in the 2024 budget. The first phase of the construction is targeted for completion in the third week of December, not too long from now. The second phase of development planned for next year will include parks, construction of play areas, skateboard facilities, and the implementation of environmentally friendly technologies such as solar panels for lighting. With the concept of green technology, this facility is expected to be a symbol of Buling's progress in combining infrastructure, development, and environmental sustainability. The construction of this jogging track will not only be a place for sports, but also a center for social activities for the people of Bulang. Access to this area will be free to the public. The facility is expected to encourage the public to be more active in exercising, therefore improving overall physical and mental health. The laying of the first stone is a symbol of the initial commitment of Bulang Regency government to provide quality, green, and environmentally friendly public facilities for all Bulang residents. Wow. Sounds great. And now, let's go to a different area of Indonesia, over to Labuan Bajo. Various hopes of tourism actors in Labuan Bajo for Prabowo-Gibran. Prabowo Subianto and Gibran Raka were inaugurated as president today, and a number of tourism actors in Labuan Bajo expressed their hopes for this new team. The head of Labuan Bajo Flores region of the Indonesian Travel Agent Association, Astindo, NTT, said that he hopes that Prabowo-Gibran will continue to make the 5 super priority tourism destinations, DPSP, as one of the priority programs for accelerating development in the tourism sector. Labuan Bajo is one of the destinations included in the DPSP. Other DPSPs are Borobudur in Central Java, Mandalika in Lombok, Lake Toba, North Sumatra, and Likupang in North Sulawesi. The 5 DPSP policy remains one of the priority programs for accelerating development in the tourism sector, he said in Labuan Bajo the other day. He hopes that the new government will encourage cruise ships or cruise lines from abroad to dock in Labuan Bajo. According to him, the capacity for the Labuan Bajo Marina Port is already sufficient for cruise ships to dock. Likewise, hotels in Labuan Bajo are good, both in quality and quantity, and supported by the number of ships that can carry cruise line passengers to explore the Komodo National Park area, as well as the mainland of Flores Island. He said that if the cruise ships dock at Labuan Bajo, there will be an impact for micro, small, medium enterprises, as well as a number of other people in the tourism industry. He said right now there's dozens of cruise ships that dock at Komodo. Each cruise ship carries around 1,000 tourists. Usually only about half that number, he said, get off the ship to see the Komodo dragons. If the cruise ship docks at Labuan Bajo, then tourists who want to go to the park can use tourist ships operating in Labuan Bajo waters, like speedboats. Meanwhile, tourists who do not want to see the Komodo dragons are also a market for tourism actors and other businesses in Labuan Bajo. Guests of the tour ship can be invited on a city tour, visiting tourist spots in the city or in the surrounding area. Tourists can also be invited to shop for products and enjoy culinary delights at a number of Labuan Bajo restaurants. Another hope expressed by him is that more events, both national and international, will be held at Labuan Bajo. Not only that, he hopes that direct flights from other countries will be increased, both in terms of the number of routes, countries, and aircraft. Currently, direct flights from abroad to Labuan Bajo are only from KL. The direct round-trip flight is served by AirAsia. The hope that the incoming administration will continue to pay attention to DPSPs was also conveyed by the chairman of the Labuan Bajo branch of the Indonesian Marine and Water Tourism Entrepreneur Association. The Super Priority Destination Program continue and be more directed at strengthening institutional human resources and safety. The infrastructure development so far in Labuan Bajo is due to the determination of PDSP. And remember, I've been talking about the Indonesian desire to have food security here in the country and in Bali. Well, according to BMKG forecast, long rainy season, farmers can expect abundant harvest. Yay! The Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, has forecasted a prolonged rainy season for 2024-2025, presenting farmers with the opportunity to maximize agricultural productivity. According to the Deputy of Climatology, the rainy season expected to arrive earlier than usual and reach its peak in November. That's in one place, and hang on, I'll explain that. This early onset provides farmers with the advantage of starting their planting activities sooner. In line with the Ministry of Agriculture's recommendations, Farmers can begin planting as early as mid-October, right now. BMKG details that the peak of the rainy season is expected to occur from November to March in most regions of Indonesia. Approximately 79.1% of the country's 553 rainfall zones will experience normal or neither excessively wet nor dry conditions during this period. The peak of the rainy season expected to occur in November to December in Sumatra, southern coastal areas of Java, and Kalimantan. January, February, March, the peak is expected in Lampung, northern parts of Java, certain areas of Sulawesi, Bali, West Nusa Tenggara, East Nusa Tenggara, and most parts of Papua. This data analysis should be considered and utilized to initiate planting earlier, he said. He urged regional governments to support farmers in implementing these recommendations, especially given the extended rainy season from November to February, March next year. The potential for increased agricultural productivity is significant during this period. Our farmers have the potential to yield abundant harvest, perhaps even enabling 2 planting seasons in the April to May next year. So some good news on agriculture. Let's bring in some more food, right? Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.